Today we're going to look at the song Dance from Unit 5 of Level 2 Piano Safari. So I've got an old edition of the book here, and you can see that it's spread between 2 pages, but I believe that your book just has it all written on a single page. But the good news is that I'll still have the same 4 lines, so as we go through together, you should still be able to follow along, hopefully fairly easily. Alright, so as usual, I like to start off with doing some marking and analyzing the music. So I'm just going to zoom in with the camera. Oops. That doesn't show very well, so let's try putting it up there. Okay, that's a bit better. So our starting notes here are middle C and high G. In line 3, we are also going to have to move. So our first note of line 3 is J, ba, D, and then we move back to our original spot of high G at the end of line 3. You can mark all of those. And then next, you can grab a highlighter and mark all of the skipping notes. So we have skip, skip, same, 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 aim, step, 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 step. Skip, skip, same, 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 step, 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 same, step. So you might notice that lines 1 and 2 are very similar to each other. They vary a little bit at the end. But even like if you look at these 2 measures, they start the same. They both have that stepping up part. This one keeps going up all the way to the top finger. This one starts to return down after only going up to finger 4. If we look at the second page, notice that line 4 starts the same as lines 1 and 2. So they both skip, skip, same. But then, if we look here, it's actually kind of the same. So the end of line 2 is very similar to kind of like the beginning of line 4. So it's kind of like it's been compressed. So we've taken like the first measure of line 2 and taken that, and then the third measure of line 2, and then we go right to that one for the second measure of line 4. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's just kind of like jumping ahead there. And then this part, going down all of the fingers, stepping down all the fingers, that part reminds me a little bit of what we did at the end of line 1. We went all the way up to finger 5 and then all the way to finger 1. It looks a little bit different, but it's going to sound kind of similar at least. Line 3 is the contrasting line, which is very common in this type of music. So this one has a very similar motive, so it's skipping down, same. So you can mark those as skips. And then we do a stepping down pattern and then skipping down, same, and then another stepping down pattern that takes us back to our original position. So that skipping down pattern is the same as what we had at the very beginning of the song, so it is derived from it. However, instead of being in the key of C, in line 3, we actually move to the dominant key, or the away key, which is the key of G. And then we move back to our original key at the end of line 3. Alright, so that should be it for marking the skips. Now, if you also wanted to mark the fourths, you can grab a contrasting color highlighter. And I'll show you the music once more. There's no fourths in the right hand, the first line, or the second line. However, in line 3, we do have a fourth here. They've given you the finger number, so that makes it a lot easier. I believe that is the only fourth in the right hand. Now, there are lots of fourths in the left hand because, sorry, my music's going to slow down here. Let's fix that. Because C is finger 1, and that's our tonic. And if you remember, the 1 is our tonic, the 5 note of the key. So I'm just going to move down to here for a second to illustrate. So the tonic is C of the key. The 5th, or the dominant, is G. So if we have our 1 on the C, actually takes us to the 5th note of the key. I hope that makes sense. If C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5th note of the key. So here's our tonic, here's our dominant. Fingers 1 and fingers 4. So lots of force in the left hand because it's going between the tonic note and the dominant. So we've got tonic. That's kind of dominant sounding as well. Another 4th there to color. All dominants, which makes sense because we're sort of in the key of G in line 3. And then subdominant, that's our F. G is our dominant, tonic. So that's our full, we could call it our authentic cadence at the end. Now I don't think there's too many other things to mark except for maybe together lines. Together lines might be useful. So you can go ahead and add those as well. They're fairly straightforward, just a line connecting. Usually it's just the first notes of each measure, it seems like, that are together. In here there's 2, because there's 2 notes in the left hand. And then for the rest of the song, just literally the first one all the way to the end. Okay, so that's it for marking. Now it's always a good idea to do the rhythm tapping. I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see the whole music. Not easy to do. There we go. And then I'm going to tap right here, left hand and right hand, or we can call it drumming. And notice we're in 2/4 time, so I'm going to count to 2 and then we will start. 1, 2. Pretty much just Zechariah's, keep a nice steady beat. Notice that at the end of line 2, that it's Zechariah, zebra. So we've got those longer notes, so you can write that in if you like. That might be useful to keep it steady there. And at the end of the song, Zechariah, Z. I'm just gonna hold. All right, and then the last thing is just the articulation. So the articulation is staccatos, legatos. So when you do the skips, you're gonna connect them, but then you're gonna hop off the last note. And then all of those sames are nice and hoppy with a light staccato. So just a little wrist bounce like that. And then use your legato for the stepping part. Hop, 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 hop. Smooth and then we sing down. Smooth and hoppy, smoothly, smoothly, smooth and hoppy, smoothly, 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 hoppy, smoothly, smoothly, smoothly down to 1. So that'll be the articulation for the right hand. Left hand, it's best if you can play it a little bit detached, because that is what was stylistically appropriate, except when we see the slur, the 2, 1, 4. So I'm just trying it hand separately first, as you can see, always a good strategy. And then all together when you're ready. Zechariah, 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 zebra. Move. Zechariah, 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 Z. And that is the whole song.